Almost every woman has said, "I love you," to a man at least once. Some have said it more than once. Sometimes they said it with tears in their eyes. They made promises. They talked about the future. They swore that the relationship would last. And then the relationship ended. And the man is left wondering, how is that possible? She told me she loved me. She told me I was the most important person in her life. So why isn't she here anymore? And this raises a very important question. What does the word love actually mean? Because different people can mean completely different things when they use exactly the same word. For one woman, "I love you" may mean passion, strong physical attraction. She loves looking at you, touching you, spending time with you. Her emotions take over. She thinks about you constantly. She feels like this must be true love. And while those emotions are strong, she may be completely sincere. She may not be lying at all. She really does love you, in the way she understands love. But time passes. The passion becomes calmer. The relationship becomes familiar. Everyday life begins. And suddenly she says, "I don't feel anything anymore." And the man doesn't understand. "But how can that be? You told me you loved me." The answer may be very simple. For her, love was primarily an emotion. When the emotion disappeared, the feeling of love disappeared with it. For another woman, love is primarily about comfort. She feels good with this man. He takes care of her. He helps her. He earns good money. She feels safe with him. Her quality of life improves. And again, this doesn't necessarily mean she's consciously lying. She may genuinely have feelings for the man. But if the relationship stops providing the level of comfort she's used to, her feelings may change. And that's when a man may discover something unpleasant. He thought she loved him for who he was. But it turns out that a significant part of that love was connected to what he provided. Pension, money, stability, emotions, comfort. For a third woman, a relationship may actually be a way of recovering from a previous love. This often happens after a painful breakup. A person hasn't had enough time to emotionally recover, but a new partner appears. And the new man becomes a kind of painkiller. Being with him feels good. It doesn't hurt as much. She doesn't have to think about her ex. She can feel desirable again. She can fill the emptiness inside her. And she may even say, "I've finally found true love." But sometimes it's not love. It's an attempt to stop feeling the pain. And when the pain goes away, the relationship may start falling apart too. Now imagine a fourth possibility. A woman genuinely wants to build a family. Not just experience emotions. Not just receive attention. Not just have a good time. Not just enjoy comfort. She looks at a man and thinks, "I want to spend my life with this person." That's a completely different level of relationship. Because a family is not just about emotions. It's about responsibility, patience, compromise, the ability to survive periods when passion becomes weaker. It's the willingness to stay together not only when everything is wonderful. And that's why I think it's so important not to ask a woman, "Do you love me?" Because she may sincerely answer, "Yes." But that doesn't tell you what will happen 5 years from now. A much more interesting question is, what does love mean to you? That answer can tell you much more. What does she imagine when she thinks about a happy relationship? What does loyalty mean to her? What does she consider cheating? How does she feel about marriage? Does she want children? What does she imagine your life together looking like? What will she do when the relationship enters a difficult period? Is she willing to work on the relationship? And most importantly, do your answers match? Because people very often start relationships without discussing the things that actually matter. They feel good together. There is passion. There is sex. There is romance. There are beautiful pictures. There are vacations. There are messages until 3 in the morning. And both people say, "We love each other." Then several years pass. And they discover that one wants children while the other absolutely doesn't. One wants to live in the city, while the other dreams of moving to the countryside. One wants the wife to work, while the other wants a traditional family. One wants an official marriage, while the other sees no point in it. One believes problems should be discussed. The other packs their bags and walks out after every argument. And then the question comes, where did the love go? Maybe it didn't go anywhere. The two people simply wanted completely different things from the relationship from the beginning. That's why so many teenage relationships end. Not because teenagers are incapable of love. Quite the opposite. Their feelings can be incredibly intense. But in most cases, they don't yet know what kind of life they want to build. Today they're madly in love. A year later, they want completely different things. And that's normal. People grow up. Their goals change. Their values change. Their priorities change. Their ideas about family change. That's why your first love can be real. But real love doesn't necessarily mean love for the rest of your life. And that's a very important distinction. You can genuinely love someone today and, several years later, realize that your paths are going in different directions. That doesn't necessarily mean someone was a bad person. Sometimes people simply stop being compatible. Imagine two people. They're both wonderful. Both are honest. Both are loyal. Both want a family. But one wants 3 children, while the other doesn't want children at all. Who's the bad person? Neither. They're simply not compatible for the kind of life each person wants to build. And this is where men often make a mistake. They try to prove to a woman that she should love them. I did so much for you. I provided for you. I was always there for you. I never cheated on you. But love isn't accounting. You can't put a list of your good deeds on the table and demand, now you're obligated to love me. You can be a wonderful man and still not be the person a particular woman wants to spend her life with. And the opposite is also true. A woman can be wonderful, kind, and beautiful, but if her idea of family completely contradicts yours, the relationship will eventually run into problems. So instead of constantly asking, does she love me? I would suggest asking a completely different question. How does she love? What does she do when she becomes bored? What does she do when problems appear? How does she behave during conflict? How does she treat her promises? How does she view loyalty? How does she talk about her exes? How does she talk about family? How does she behave when she receives less attention than she's used to? Because words can be spoken in 5 seconds. A person's real attitude is revealed through their behavior. Someone can say, I love you, and then constantly humiliate their partner. Someone can say, you're the most important person in my life, and disappear the moment a serious problem appears. Someone can say, I want a family, but have absolutely no desire to accept the responsibility, compromise, and effort that come with building one. That's why love isn't just words. It's also a choice. Every single day. The choice to be honest. The choice to respect another person. The choice not to betray them when temptation appears. The choice to communicate when walking away would be easier. The choice to look for a solution when blaming someone would be easier. And that's much closer to mature love. So if a woman tells you, I love you, don't immediately assume she's lying. She may be telling you the absolute truth. You simply need to understand what exactly she means by love. For her, it may be passion. For another woman, security. For another, comfort. For another, an attempt to forget a previous relationship. And for another, a genuine desire to build a family. Only when your ideas about love and life actually match do you have a real chance at a long-term relationship. Because the biggest problem isn't always that people stop loving each other. Very often, the problem is something else. From the very beginning, they were calling completely different things love. So the next time someone tells you, I love you, don't immediately ask, how much? What does loving someone mean to you? The answer to that question may tell you much more about your future together than 1,000 declarations of love.